Stephanie from Youre Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. Today's tutorial. Tutorial. Why can't I ever say that word? I don't know. But can you guess? Another tutorial. Today's tutorial, once again, I can't say the word tutorial, is all about garland. Now, we'll talk about this garland in a second because this is not the actual length that you would get this garland, and I'll explain in a second. But we have so many new garlands that keep coming to the shop, so we figured let's dive in a little bit to the wonderful world of garland, and we'll also make a finished piece as well as we chat about the lovely, wonderful world of garland. Okay, let's just jump into it. All right, you guys, so before I show you all of the supplies needed for the tutorial that we will do at the midway point of this wonderful video, I did want to kind of break down some of the different garlands that we now carry in the shop. And I will note that y'all love garland. And so in stock, it goes in and out of stock pretty quickly. We do offer a really handy, nice little feature on our website. If something is out of stock, you can click on the information, like to get more information about the product, look at the description and things, and there's a little box that says notify me when it's in stock. Pop in your email address, and as soon as it gets entered back into the inventory that it's in stock, you get an email right away. So you're the first to know when it's back in stock. And this lovely one, now, I've cut this off. Most of our garlands are right around the 6 foot point. This one I've used, and that's where we're gonna talk about the lovely versatility of a garland. I cut off a ton of this one for different various projects. So now I could probably, and I probably will, can make a wreath out of this. And this is our mixed eucalyptus. This has been super popular. It's a very dense, particular garland. So we're not gonna work with this one, but let me show you a few of the other garlands that we have. Most of these garlands are a continuation of best-selling greenery that we have. So this is the Smilax. I believe we've used this for a tutorial a time or two already, mostly though possibly on Facebook Lives. So it's got this beautiful, more kind of, I was gonna say a dirty green. It's kind of this darker green, but it's also got yellow. I love this one in particular for fall arrangements. It works really, really well. And a lot of these, they're long and wispy, the greenery pieces. So if you want to bulk it up a little bit, get 2 of them, mix them together. Otherwise, just stay tuned. I'm going to show you how you can bulk up a lovely piece of greenery. This right here is the Italian Ruscus. This has been a very popular greenery line that we offer. So when it's standing up, it looks kind of standing up. When you lay it up like this, gravity is going to pull all of those down, but when you put it on a tabletop or draped around something, it does get quite a bit fuller. To the eye, it's going to look nice and full, but when you hang it like this, it looks droopy. It's not in actuality. Love this stuff. This has, y'all love it too, because this one is, again, a similar one that's really hard for us to keep in stock. We do the best we can. I've used this before as well in tutorials. So this is not the one we're gonna use tonight. No, it's not tonight, whenever you're watching this. That's not what we're gonna do. Let me show you the garland we're gonna play with today. Dun, 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 dun. It's the sage. So similar, all of the Smilax, the Italian Ruscus, and the sage all have these like long, thin, wispy kind of greenery to them. But then once in place, once you lay it down, it fills in a little bit. I'm really excited to work with this one. So I'm gonna show you how you can play around with this a little bit, bulk it up, add some more color or flowers to it. And as we do this, we'll also talk about some of the other uses of the lovely, versatile garland. All right, enough of me like gushing. Let's actually show you the other materials, shall we? Besides needing a garland, you will need some sola wood flowers if you choose to do so. This is one of the new dyed assortments. As I'm filming this, we had just launched this, I think last week, and I believe it's called A Dance in the Meadow or Meadow Dance or something around those. I'll make sure to link it in the description. I know I'm bad at that, but I'm gonna do my best. So there's that. Then I also have this lovely, I believe this is, it's either heather or a stilby, and it may or may not be in stock when watching this, but we're gonna use that. And then this is not in stock. This is a variation of a spring green we had last year, but in a different colorway, which works perfectly for these. So we're gonna also use this for a little extra pop of color, a little bit more texture. Look how lovely that is. Oh my gosh, then you also need your garland. You'll need the needle nose pliers, your wire clippers. I'm also going to be using paddle wire in a 22 gauge. And we'll also need, oh, what is this? Oh, I forgot the name of it now. Bind wire. You'll also need some bind wire to do the tutorial the way that I'm gonna show you. So that's all I think, hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's jump in. All right, so before we begin, I do wanna show you a tutorial inside the tutorial of how I like to stem flowers when I'm working with garland in particular. This also will work really well for wreaths if you want. So I've got my paddle wire. This is 22 gauge. You can go with a thinner paddle wire, which is a higher number, so a 24 or 26 gauge. Just makes it more bendy. I prefer to have a little oomph when I'm twisting and turning, so I like a 22 gauge, but again, completely subjective. And I'm gonna cut off, I think probably about like 6 to 8 inches. Whoa, would you? 7 inches. I was right in the middle. I said 6 to 8. Look at me. I consider that I was exactly right on the nose. Okay, so we have that. We're going to bend it in half. Take our needle nose, and let's see if I can get this to zoom so you can really see what we're doing here. Oh, there we go. Okay. And with our needle nose, we're going to pinch it. Okay. We're gonna add a little glue to the top here. Pop it into our flower. Let's see if Vikram's warmed up. He is. Bring it in there. Okay. And now she has little ballerina legs. And I'll show you what we're gonna do with those in just a second. Now the next thing I'm gonna do in order to prep for filling in my garland is I am going to cut this up, and I'm gonna cut it into multiple different pieces so that I have lots of little bundles. We're gonna make bundles with these. Whoops, and we're gonna throw greenery while we're at it too. And for these lovely guys, those can scoot up. So we're gonna scoot them up. If I really wanted to, maybe, I think I'm gonna do something different. So I'm gonna cut these up first. So I need the wires. But then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna scoot this down. Why did I push it so far? Whoops, that's not what I wanted. That's fine, there we go. Bring that down. Slide down. Like this. I am going to grab, okay, so there's one. The one I slid down, we're gonna stem that up separate, because it goes right through, right? So we're gonna take a wire, I'm going to fold it over, get my needle nose, crimp it, and then I'll cut this to size in just a minute. So I'm gonna do that with the rest of these, and then we'll get to making our little bundles. All right, so everything is stemmed up individually. So now we're gonna make some little bundles, and we're gonna do these in 2 different ways. Well, I say that, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is we're gonna take a few of these and we're gonna turn them into bundles just as is, but then a couple of them I'm gonna also put, oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. I'm also gonna bundle a flower in there that will then add all together onto the garland, and then some of the flowers I'm gonna leave by themselves to add into the garland. So, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I did leave some of this wire sticking out. I'm gonna grab my binding wire. I'm gonna take the binding wire and wrap that around this. And to attach it to the garland, I think I'm gonna attach it with this paddle wire, but the ones that we're not putting a flower in, we'll be attaching it with the binding wire. So let me show you one of those without paddle wire attached in just a second. Let's get this nice and combined, shall we? Okay, so I'm gonna just clip that off. I'm gonna clip off the extra wires. All right, one bundle is complete, not yet ready to go actually on the garland. So let's do one more, just flowers. Again, the bind wire. This time, instead of like starting on the one end, I'm gonna go in straight in the middle and start wrapping it both ways. And we're gonna create those like little feet like we did with the paddle wire instead with the bind wire. Okay, so there's that. Clip off the excess. All right, I'm gonna make the rest of these bundles and then we'll get to putting them into the garland. Okay, so all of our bundles are made, both are, this is just, sorry, I get distracted. All of our bundles are made, flower bundles, non-flower bundles, and then we have lots of little extra flowers as well, which is perfect. I did 3 of each color. Does that matter? I don't know. You guys can tell me at the end. So what we're going to do is grab our garland, like so. And we're going to pay attention to the direction of our garland, okay? So this one, all of the leaves are going this way. So you do not want, well you could, but it's just counterproductive. You're not gonna wanna put your filler greenery going the opposite direction. You wanna go with the flow of the rest of your garland. So I'm going to start with one that doesn't have a flower. And I'm just gonna start at the end of it, and we're going to take our paddle wire, and this is why, or not paddle wire, bind wire, and this is why I always use the green stuff too, because it'll blend in. But we're going to take that and we're going to start wrapping it around the base. This makes it too so that if you ever want to change the coloring, things like that, you can untwist all of these bind wire pieces and make a completely new garland. So there is that one. We'll bring the camera, I'm gonna scoot the camera out a little bit so you can see my tabletop, and we're gonna put all of the rest of these on here. So as I mentioned earlier, we were gonna talk about some of the things that you can do with garland. So while I'm futzing with this, let's talk about those things, shall we? So besides just laying the garland as is, which is great for, like I have one sitting up on the top of one of the really high shelves here in the studio. You can also put it on top of like a cabinet or things like that. I actually have one too on a like this cubby system that we have in the homeschool room in my house. So you can have like a little pop of color. You can also use these to make a wreath. You can use them as is, as far as like using them, cut off all of the pieces of greenery. You get a decent bang for your buck, and then stem up all of the pieces of greenery if you want. I've done that for bouquets as well. You can use it on centerpieces, hoops in particular, like we've done the cake stand with this huge hula hoop before. You could do something like that and use the greenery to really cover a space to begin with. Arches, you can use it as a swag. There are so many different applications for the garland. Makes it super versatile. Now I'm going about, I should probably space these out a little bit better. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go, so this would be really pretty, but I don't have enough greenery for that. So our little extra pieces, I'm gonna leave spaces in between. And then what we'll do is we'll be adding a flower in there as well throughout, or we can add flowers onto those as well. So the spacing is probably like where the bottom of the one goes. This one I went a little too close, but the bottom of the one base to the start of the next one. Hopefully that is enough spacing. It's probably better to not just eyeball it like I am and actually space it out, but you know, details, details, details. Oh, this is gonna be so pretty when it's done. All right, you guys, there you have it. A lovely springtime, gorgeous garland. This one will be going in my house for either my fireplace, or I also do something, I have like a credenza in the dining room that we always decorate. So this is gonna be added into one of those two spots for the spring. Again, we used the sage greenery. I mixed in some, I think that's heather in white, but a stilby will also work from the shop. And then I pulled in a spring greenery that we had last year that is not available right now. And then a dyed assortment, which is either dancing in the meadow or meadow dancing, vice versa. It's in the dyed assortment on the website. If you're loving these videos, can't get enough, want to know when the next one goes live, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to find out about the 150 style solo wood flowers, along with craft supplies and greenery like our garlands. Go to oyourlovely.com, but before you run off and go check those out, let me give you a coupon code to help you along your journey. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off your first order. All right, you guys, do you use the garlands? I'd love to know. They're like one of my favorites. I love to use garlands for every single season and like switch them out. And again, the tutorial that I just showed you today, super customizable, and also you can then pull everything apart, use it for something else if you want, and then change up the color story for whatever you need. So, love them. I love them so much. Look at this. You can't see it on the camera. It looks so pretty, all like pushed together, but also then spread all apart. You gotta just trust me on this. So go get yourself a garland, have fun creating, and I'll see you next week for another tutorial. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, and you, my friends, are absolutely lovely. Bye, guys.